Brandon, are you comfortable with the coverage that the bullpen could provide tonight if it's needed after the usage the last few games? Or was there any consideration at all about trying to get a fresh arm?
There was some consideration, but we're going to go with really what we have tonight. I do feel comfortable with it. We have LeBlanc that can go long. We're hoping that Dean Kramer can give us some innings tonight, though.
Melanie Newman, go ahead.
Brandon, with just what the Mariners have gone through between an injury bug, but also the Mather statements early in spring training, have you gotten to talk to Cervais at all about just what he's been dealing with, or any advice among managers?
No, I haven't talked to Scott at all. I don't know Scott very well, to be honest with you.
Stan Charles, go ahead.
Brandon, if this were a normal season, you might look to Norfolk or Bowie for help pitching wise. What can somebody do at the alternate site? Is there anything a pitcher can do to pitch his way back up to the majors, or is it just a need for a fresh arm?
No, we get daily reports of what's happening down there, both offensively, defensively, and pitching. So we're very, very aware of how guys are doing at our alternate site, and just like we were last year, when we had to make decisions last year without games being played, but mainly going off of inter-squad and controlled simulation games. We made decisions on when to call guys up, et cetera. It's going to be the same thing this year until the AAA season's going, but we're very aware of what's going on down there.
Mark Viviano, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. I'm not sure if you addressed this after the game yesterday. Anthony Santander attempted a bunt single in the first inning, ended up making it out. Do you have a general philosophy about that option for your players, specific to some of them or overall?
Yeah, I don't want Anthony Santander bunting with a 3-1 count with a runner at first base. Just like I don't want Cedric Mullins bunting with 2 strikes in New York. So I like to give guys freedom. I think we're pretty inexperienced in a lot of ways. Both those came out were surprises. But I think our guys are going to learn from those. Yeah, I think the bunt is definitely necessary at times. And I think the situation calls for it. And it's going to be right in your face when you know that is the time. Now is the time where I try to lay one down. Cedric, it's a weapon, so it's part of his game. But when you're a left-handed bat like Santander or Chance Cisco or Rio Ruiz, it's all about game situation and understanding where we are. Do we need a base runner? Where they're playing, etc. And if I'm Anthony Santander in a 3-run count, 1, I'm looking to drive the baseball. But 2, if I do decide to lay a bunt down and I only have 1 strike on me, I'm not going to. It's either going to be fair or foul. I'm not going to allow the pitcher ever to be able to come over and get it. So I think that all these things we're still learning.
Rick Dubroff, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. What's the reason for switching the batting order with Franco and Mountcastle?
I'm just trying to take a little pressure off of Ryan. He's putting so much pressure on himself. One of the right-handers in there against Sheffield, he's got a really good arm. We got our work cut out for us. Watched the video on him earlier today. Somebody we faced a couple of years ago. He's going to be tough on us. But yeah, I'm trying to stack up right-handers there in the middle. I just wanted to kind of give Ryan a little bit of a breather. Talked about it with him, and just try to let him breathe through his at-bats a little bit. I just see him really pressing.
John Mioli, go ahead.
Brandon, on the pitching, a lot of thought went into how this season was going to go, just staffing up the roster and all that. What's the reality been like versus the expectation of the challenges that's going to face, or you guys are going to face with that?
I don't know if we're seeing them exactly right now, but I think it will definitely come over the course of games played in the summer. Right now we have 14 pitchers on our roster. We should be able to cover, I would think. We have starters that are still getting built up. I think, I would love to see our starters go a little, John Means went 7 the first night. That was huge. But we should be able to cover innings. That shouldn't be an issue right now. Now, I think as we get it later in the summer, and we'll see how guys are physically, see how, some of these starters we might want to hold back a little bit. I said there's a lot of variables that are going to happen throughout the season, but right now it's pretty much how I thought it was going to be.
Joe Trezza, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon, you might have addressed this, whether it was yesterday or a few days ago, but what are you seeing from Cedric specifically against left-handed pitching? And is it impressive how well he's doing against lefties, given that before the spring, he hadn't faced lefties from the left side since high school?
Yeah, no, we did talk about it yesterday. It's extremely impressive. It's not something that I was expecting. I thought he might put together some good at-bats, but I did not think that he was going to be able to stay close and stay on the baseball like he is against good left-handed pitching. It's one thing to work out at home and face some lefties to get used to it. And then in spring training, I try to get him as many at-bats as possible versus left-handed pitching just to get him more acclimated and really to see how it looked. And I thought it looked pretty good. I thought he just took some nice at-bats on the backfields, but also in games left on left. But this has been really good. And even the Aroldis Chapman at bat a few nights ago in New York when he struck out, there was a couple of foul balls that he was just not going anywhere on. The right shoulder was staying in. And he's just making a conscious effort to really stay on the baseball. So, Eduardo Rodriguez is a really, really, really good left-handed starter. And he laces, first, the lead off the bottom of the first. He laces the line drive in the right center on him. That's not easy to do. And so it's been really cool to watch.
Melanie Newman, go ahead.
You mentioned Mountcastle and the pressure a moment ago. With another day off the field for him, have you noticed some of that subside when it comes to still learning the outfield, since he now gets the chance to just kind of take it in and watch what these other guys are doing?
No, he's still getting his work in defensively out there. He's getting it. He's out there working earlier today. So no, this was more about trying to help him out from an offensive side and let him breathe a little bit, let some guys hit in front of him. That's all it is.
And we have time for one last follow-up question from Mark Viviano. Mark, go ahead.
Brandon, at this point, I'm sure you've seen the good and the bad of the use of instant replay. Do you have an overall positive or negative feel for its existence? And is there anything about it that you would like to see altered?
Oh, Mark, you must have been watching the game last night.
A little bit. Yeah. A lot of people talking about that.
Yeah. Well, I like replay. I like how replay's evolved. I like how they have cut the time down. Thought before early on it was just taking way too long. I think they could still cut the time down. I like the challenge aspect. I like the fact that it can go for an umpire review late in the game. I think it's important to get every call right. That's my main. I feel like that's why we have the rule, is to try to get as many calls right as possible. That call last night, I don't know what goes on in New York, to be honest with you. So I put a lot of trust in our umpires and a lot of trust in the league, and they have camera angles that we don't. And so when the call is made that maybe I disagree with or I don't see it the same way, I'm trusting that they have a camera angle that I don't see on the Jumbotron or on TV. But I do like that we have replay.